Hello everybody and welcome back to another Our Life chapter. Yes, it is the same day I filmed last chapter. It was short and I had a little bit of time, so I'm doing this one at once. Anyways, this is going to be Ghost. This one's cute. Is that a fucking Arlequin? Cause I hate... What? The night was incredibly still. You really couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room over. It was hard to believe how much of a blur today was. Summer sure did slip right past you. You flicked through the moments like pages in a scrapbook as you laid in bed. The ones that stuck out all seemed to include your new neighbor, Cove. Oh, I wonder why. It was funny how he had become such a big part of your life in such a short span of time. You thought a lot about what adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up to you. Then you heard something scrape against the window. It wasn't that uncommon for the wind to push a tree branch against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes. But the more you tried to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like something was trying to get your attention. You lifted your head off the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. You just went back to bed. It was only your imagination. You had to investigate the mysterious sound. It's too creepy to ignore. Last time I did this, I want to do it again though. I'll take a different decision this time. I'm gonna go back to bed. I would fucking investigate. Well, when I was little. Nowadays, I just fucking ignore, because every time I investigate whatever the weird noises are, I always see some weird shit. And I don't like seeing weird shit, so I decided to just ignore when I was like 17 or something. Just ignore the weird sounds. You tried again to close your eyes and go to sleep. But the unknown scratching sounds didn't stop. It left your heart pounding. You couldn't ignore it anymore. You had to check it out. You went to talk to your moms about it. Let's check it out. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to go outside. Your moms were still awake. They stayed up so late, it seemed. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but it didn't feel that way. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was exhilarating. It made you regret your decision. It scared you. It scares me. You didn't know what had come over you. If something had happened, no one would know where you had gone, and the thought of that made your stomach tighten in fear. The ease with which you had slipped out only served to make you feel worse. Your moms didn't need to be vigilant because they had trusted you not to do exactly what you were doing. Hello, babe. You switched at the sudden... Wait, is he wearing a sweater? Why? Isn't it summer? Isn't it supposed to be warm? You twitched at the sudden call, immediately calming down upon seeing Cove walking up to you. It was strange and yet also completely normal to have him appear like this right now. What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either, why not? Cove turned up his lips to smile, almost as if he were amused by the question. Because. Oop, low battery. Alright. Did you hear the weird noise? You should be in bed. Because what? I'm glad you're here. Because what? Because I wasn't. You don't have to be a little bitch. His tone was irritated now. Ugh. That wasn't really fair since he hadn't given you a proper answer the first time. Or the second, for that matter. Why aren't you sleeping? You weren't even in your house. Tempting as it was to turn his technique back on him, do it! You decided to lead by example and show him what a real answer looked like. Okay, let's be mature. We're 8, we don't need to be mature. There was a strange noise coming from outside. I came to check it out. You heard it too? Cove hesitated for a moment, looking down at the street before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? A little. Me too. I feel better that you're here. Me too. The two of you delicately smiled at that. Cove even chuckled a bit. It was nice that you both felt the same way about things. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? What if it's an alien? I believe in aliens. The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You were about to agree with him when the noise came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you rapidly looked around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. Word. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that. It would be anything. It could be anything. It had to be a ghost. There's gotta be a regular reason for it. No, I think it could be an alien. Why isn't that an option? It could be anything. You weren't going to rule out possibilities yet. It was a mystery. Do you think it was a ghost? It might be, I don't know. My mom said ghosts aren't real. They are real, girl. They are very real. It might be, I don't know. Cove. The thought of some sinister, invisible thing lurking in the darkness wasn't exactly a pleasant one. Cove seemed downright terrified at the notion. At least as long as the two of you stuck together, everything would be okay. Hey, can you tell me where it's coming from?
Not really.
Not really. Then we'll have to look more somewhere else. Maybe we'll see something. Okay, let's go. You clustered together as you walked the familiar streets of your neighborhood, drawing strength from each other's presence. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed. Word. His eyes glistened in the dim light. You stayed frozen to the spot. You took a deep breath to calm yourself. You comforted him. You offered him your hand. You focused ahead. I'm gonna comfort him. Comfort him. Oop. Accent. Yeah. We're still alright, Cove. Nothing is coming for us. You grinned at him and coaxed a weak smile back from him in exchange. I'm scared too, though. Comfort me. You were just as scared as he was, and you knew that both of you were struggling right now. Cove shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. Where did you want to check? The park, the beach, the hills behind my house. We could check the beach. What if it's like a whale or something trapped there? The beach, I checked the hills before, so we're checking the beach now. The beach stretched out in front of you, nothing in sight along its sands, no matter which way you turned. Part of you had imagined the noise as some creature of the deep washed up right on the shore and calling for aid. That theory had to be taken off the list for now. Still, you'd spend enough time in the shore to know that the real finds often required a sharp eye and careful attention. The sound screamed past your ear. You hunched up, shoulders high, as if ready to endure a blow. But the only damage was your ears. There still didn't appear to be any immediate danger, despite every bone in your body telling you that something wasn't right. But you kept going forward, you ran away, you snuck back to your neighborhood quietly. What do we do? Let's snuck back. A thread of fear slithered its way into your stomach, and you found it hard to swallow down the lump that had formed in your throat. You silently tapped Cove on the arm to get his attention and indicated for him to follow as you backed away slowly. He nodded with understanding. The two of you crept back to the neighborhood together, as quiet as a pair of field mice. And when you finally reached the safety of the sidewalk, you let out a breath of relief. Your hands were still shaking, but you took a moment to look up and down the street. It made you shudder to think about what might have been out there, watching you through the dark. Aliens, man, I'm telling you. That was enough adventure for one night. What? Oh, we could go to the park now. You and Cove instead kept going down the road towards home. The two of you came to a halt outside your front door. Never before had it looked so ominous. You wrung your hands nervously. Would your absence have been noticed? Do you sneak out a lot? Not really. Lots. You were lying. Telling the truth. No, not really. I never did. Thought so. Except when I was kind of like 18 or something, because, you know, we're Latinos. We turn 18, we're not allowed to do anything still. We still have to ask for permission. And, you know, after I turned 18, I snuck out a bit. Not that much. Thought so. Because I don't know how to lie. I have no idea how to lie. And my conscience is, won't let me sleep, so I'd rather not lie. How did you know? I hadn't seen you out of my window this late before. That was fair, though it could have been possible you were just so good at sneaking that this was the first time he had caught you. Are you worried about getting caught? Nope. He was so forthright that you believed him completely. But your dad, won't he get mad or sad if he catches you? He's never happy with what I do. Shut the fuck up! Oh. You sympathized, you encouraged Cove to see it more positively. Word. You stayed out of it, you didn't know how to react to that. I'm gonna encourage Cove. I like his dad, I really do. Your dad's just worried about you, he cares. It doesn't matter if he worries, if he's the one who makes things worse. Alright, I'm going in. Okay, good night. Good night, Cove. Thanks for coming with me tonight. I'm not sure I could have done it by myself. I wanted to go with you. You beamed at him. You turned the doorknob as slowly as a clock's minute hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, then nudged it open. When all that happened was the door opening rather than the blaring alarms that you feared, you melted with relief. Yeah, they don't have alarms. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weirder still, it looked like they were on the same show as they were watching before you left, because once you start binging, you can never stop. Yet you were positive you'd been out investigating for hours. Perhaps you could use their distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, you would be safe from suspicion. But how could you get there? You tried to sneak past, you decided to walk in your own house, whatever that word is. You couldn't, you had to give up and come clean. Ooh, you don't want to lie! Because it says you tried to sneak past. I don't remember which option I chose last time. It says you tried to sneak past. Tried. Keyword. So I don't know if it works. I'm gonna try to sneak past. You hugged the wall as you crept delicately around the perimeter of the room. It was a valiant effort that any spy would have been proud of, right up until the moment when you tripped over a power cord and nearly fell over. Jamie, you might not have fallen, but your accident ruined your cover. You had been spotted. They abandoned the couch and their show to hurry over. They were still in a state of surprise you weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
What are you doing down here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream? You told the truth, you lied, you did not answer. I'm gonna lie. You couldn't bring yourself to own up to what you had done. I heard scary noises, so I came down here. Their surprise gave way to concern. Honey, Mom took you by the hand and led you up the stairs. Woof, your hand is cold. Why didn't you come over to us? I was supposed to be in bed. Jamie, you won't ever be in trouble for coming to us when you're frightened. We'd much rather you came to us than tried to solve things all by yourself. Okay, I should have done that from the beginning, I guess. Her phrasing made you feel bad. The nervousness ate at you as you were tucked into bed. Your moms assumed that your flushing and insistence on delving under the covers was part of your fear. And spoke to you softly until you calmed down enough to peep out from underneath your sheets. Once your moms had left, you turned over the night's adventure in your mind. Yep. The low battery thing turned off. It was still hard to believe that you'd already done it. It was harder still to believe that you'd gotten away with it. Even now, you half expected to be caught somehow. Perhaps you'd left the door ajar or trailed sand where they'd already swept up. You hoped that Cove had gotten home okay, though he hadn't been worried. Being told off was never fun. Wriggling down deeper underneath the sheets, your thoughts turned to the unsolved mystery. You and Cove had only just begun to scratch the surface of it. Maybe you'd solve it and maybe you wouldn't. But what mattered was that you'd shared the experience with each other. You were still so energized by the night's excitement that you tossed and turned in bed for some time, thinking up theories to share with Cove when you next saw him. Aliens. Sleep eventually claimed you, but the adventure merely resumed in your dreams. The next morning proceeded mostly like usual, though your mom seemed to be giving extra consideration since finding you last night. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escapade either. It was unclear whether that was because his dad chose not to punish him or if Cove got away with it. It was amazing to you that it all worked out for you both. As for the sounds that started this all, the adults around were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. Aliens. For your imaginative mind, that wasn't nearly enough. How could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it make more sense when you were grown up too. Maybe. So I guess I should have just talked to my moms from the beginning. Maybe I made the wrong decision. I kind of want to go back to play it again. Maybe the third time playing. Thank you for being with me in this chapter, and I will see you in my next video.
I am Peter Pan, I'll never be a man if you never wanna grow. Take my hand, I'll take you to Neverland.